Today, we become legends.
One of the most controversial aspects of the move from Smite 1 to Smite 2 was the fact that skins would not be ported to the new game. When this was first revealed, people were understandably a bit frustrated about it, especially those that had sunk way more money than they maybe should have on what are effectively consumable goods. I'll say right off the bat that you are welcome to be annoyed about this, and of course welcome to boycott Smite 2 for this reason. But I will also say that if you genuinely expected to have your skins forever, you should do more research before dropping hundreds or even thousands of dollars on skins in a live service game. These types of games are all finite. Sure, some can go on for years, even decades, but eventually all games that rely on live servers to be played will shut down. In Smite's case, I expect that would have happened sooner rather than later given the game's trajectory over the last few years of its life. Did Smite 2 accelerate that process? Absolutely, but it would have happened anyway. People need to understand that. The choice here was really between keeping Smite 1 barely alive for a few years to come and you get to keep using your skins in a game that gets updates, or make Smite 2 and accelerate Smite 1's death for the potential of a rebirth that can keep Smite as a whole relevant for another decade to come. And yes, you can still play Smite 1 for the foreseeable future and use your skins there. They haven't been taken away. The game hasn't shut down, and the devs have said they won't shut down the game anytime soon. Of course, it's not getting updates and the player count has tanked, so I'm not trying to claim you'll get as much value out of your skins as you would have if Smite 2 never happened, but you can at least still use them there if you want to. In my personal opinion, I'll take the L on my skins, which I already got years of value out of in order to keep one of my favorite games going long into the future, rather than watching it die a slow, agonizing death, which is, in my opinion, what was going to happen to Smite 1 over the next 3 to 5 years had this move not been made. But you're of course welcome to disagree. All I ask is that you do it honestly, which is sort of the point of this video. I'm going to present the facts of the skin debate clearly and unequivocally so you can decide on your own. These will be cold, hard numbers, and if those numbers change your mind, then that's wonderful. But you're of course still welcome to think the move was a bad idea. Just hear me out on the facts of the situation with an open mind. I will actually present some things here that run counter to my own view on the situation and make Hi-Rez look bad, as well as some things that will make them look good, while trying to be as unbiased as possible. Okay, so the first thing I really do want to dispel is that Hi-Rez are trying to sell you the same content you already bought for more money. This is just factually untrue, and I see it spread around from a lot of actors that either woefully are misinformed or are outright lying maliciously because they want the game to fail for some nebulous reason. Any content that is ported over to Smite 2 that was originally from Smite 1 will be purchasable using legacy gems only. Just in case some of you watching are completely new and don't know about legacy gems, they are a currency given to you in Smite 2 based on how much money you spent in Smite 1. If you spent 10,000 gems in Smite 1, you have 10,000 legacy gems in Smite 2. Any ported skins are available with legacy gems only, meaning you never have to spend another penny on getting these skins in Smite 2 if you already owned them in Smite 1. I see a lot of people spreading around the lie that you have to put diamonds, the new premium currency, onto your account in order to buy ported content, which is factually untrue. You don't have to spend a dime. However, I will provide a counterpoint here, and that is that legacy gems themselves are 2 times inflated, which actually does mean that your legacy gems won't go as far as your real gems did in Smite 1. Take a look at Jokey Loki, for example. In Smite 1, this skin is available direct purchase for 400 gems. However, in Smite 2, it costs 800 legacy gems. Meaning if you didn't purchase a Founders Pack, you actually won't be able to rebuy every single classic skin you bought in Smite 1. However, if you spent substantial amounts of money on Smite 1, I don't see it as unreasonable that you would want to buy at least the base Founders Edition, which doubles your legacy gems. And in that case, you can rebuy every piece of content you had in Smite 1. In theory, of course. Not every skin is going to be ported, so this comparison won't ever actually come up, but you could do that in theory. But what about the free-to-play players of Smite 1? If they didn't buy the God Pack for Smite 1, they likely aren't going to buy a Founders Edition for Smite 2, and so their legacy gems are half devalued. That's true, but in my opinion, if you're entirely free-to-play and never spent a dime on Smite 1, you aren't entitled to getting all that value back in the new game, and you haven't lost any money there either. So yes, legacy gems are roughly 2 times inflated in Smite 2, and if you don't buy a Founders Pack, you're effectively only getting half of your purchasing power back in the new title, as opposed to all of it. You have to buy a Founders Pack to get your entire value back. Take of that what you will, but in my opinion, it's still quite fair considering it's a brand new game that requires brand new work to bring over any content from Smite 1. Of course, the reason legacy gems are inflated roughly 2x is because of diamonds, the new premium currency, which are also inflated roughly 2x, which brings me on to my next point, which is general skin prices in Smite 2. I see a lot of people quoting diamond prices for skins in Smite 2 to make some kind of a point about how skins are twice as expensive, without understanding that the currency is twice as inflated. Let's take a look at cross-gen skins as an example first, because they're the most directly comparable, since they're available in Smite 1 and Smite 2 at the same time. Take Crimson Champion Hercules for example, which is 2400 diamonds in Smite 2 but 1200 gems in Smite 1. Buying it in either game unlocks it in both games, so why would it make sense for it to be double the price in Smite 2 than it is in Smite 1? Surely no one would ever buy it there because you can just boot up Smite 1 and buy it there for half price. Well, it makes sense because the currency is 2 times inflated, of course. People spreading around the diamond prices of skins and claiming skins are twice as expensive in Smite 2 compared to Smite 1 are either very misinformed or outright lying maliciously. Take a look at diamond prices in Smite 2 versus gem prices in Smite 1. You can get 8,000 gems in Smite 1 for $100, but you can get 16,000 diamonds in Smite 2 for that same $100. So if a skin costs 2,400 diamonds, that same skin would cost 1,200 gems to be the same real life price, which is why this cross-gen skin makes sense at these in-game prices. It's the exact same. That's just the biggest packs you can buy though. At the smaller packs, you actually get more than 2 times the diamonds for the same price. For $5, you can get 200 gems or 600 diamonds, for example. In the worst case, you're getting 2 times as many diamonds for your money compared to gems. In some cases, you're getting more than that. So if you see a skin in Smite 2 that costs 2 times the amount of diamonds as it would have cost gems in Smite 1, it's the same price. People seem to get confused about this and make posts about how skin prices are double in Smite 2 when they're absolutely not. The only thing this inflation of the currency does is devalue your legacy gems, which in itself is a fairly valid complaint in my opinion, and it is absolutely true. But the skin prices themselves are basically the same as modern Smite 1 skin prices and not above the industry standard for skin prices either. Skins are not more expensive in Smite 2, but your legacy gems do go half as far as your real gems did in Smite 1, assuming you're not buying a Founders Pack. Which in my view, the $30 Founders Pack is the best purchase you could ever make for Smite 2 in terms of value for money if you've spent a reasonable amount of gems on Smite 1, as it gives you the God Pack as well as double legacy gems. We can do a bit of math here to show at what point this is worth it just for the legacy gems as well. Since legacy gems are devalued by half in Smite 2, the number you're looking for is $60 worth of gems spent in Smite 1. That includes free gems, by the way, as long as you've spent them. At that point, this pack gives you more than $30 worth of purchasing power, so even if you don't care about the God Pack, it's worth buying if you spent $60 or more worth of gems in Smite 1. Of course, for new content, this can only be used to pay for half of the purchase price, so you will have to put on the same amount of money again in diamonds to get the full purchasing power of your legacy gems, assuming you're not spending any of them on ported content, in which case you don't have to put any extra money on. And that's just in terms of legacy gems. Of course, you get the God Pack, and if you own the God Pack, every single level where you would normally get a God Unlock token up to 50, you get 100 diamonds instead, meaning effectively once you hit account level 50 in Smite 2, which is not that hard, you don't have to invest too many hours to do that, you'll be getting 5,000 free diamonds for $30, which is actually more diamonds than you would get normally, which just makes the Founders Packs even more valuable in my opinion. Which, by the way, shameless but relevant plug, use creator code INTERSECT on the Smite Nexus store to help support the channel at no extra cost if you do want to buy diamonds or Founders Packs on PC. The link for that will be down below. So we talked about ported skin prices and cross-gen skin prices. What about entirely new Smite 2 skins? Are they more expensive than Smite 1 skins were? This one is a bit harder to quantify as Smite 1 skin prices have increased over time and non-direct purchase methods have been added over time as well. Skins back in 2014 were exclusively direct purchase and cost between 250 and 600 gems. However, most direct purchase skins in the later years of Smite 1 cost 1200 gems. We're going to only talk about direct purchase here as it's the most directly comparable method and also the only method for getting skins in Smite 2 currently. Chests and events are almost always cheaper than directly purchasing a skin at the cost of control. Chests might give you something you didn't want and events make you buy skins immediately, not necessarily when you want to. But let's take a look at the completely new direct purchase skins in Smite 2 that never existed in Smite 1. Looking at Kukulkan's Cosmic Moth skin released recently, this cost 2400 diamonds. My screenshot will show it with legacy gems as I have some available, but you can just add the two numbers together and that's the cost for only diamonds. As discussed before, 2400 diamonds is the same real money cost as 1200 gems, so this skin is in line with modern Smite 1 direct purchase skins which cost 1200 gems. Another brand new Smite 2 skin is Luna Hexacate, which is also 2400 diamonds, equivalent to 1200 gem skins in Smite 1. Again, these are just the facts and you're welcome to come to your own conclusion that these skins are still too expensive. What you can't do is claim that they're more expensive than modern Smite 1 skins, because that's just not the case. Are they more expensive than really old Smite 1 skins? Yes, the price of Smite skins has gone up over time, just like the price of everything in life goes up over time. But if you were okay buying skins in the last few years of Smite 1, you should be okay buying them in Smite 2 as well, because they're the exact same cost. Don't be fooled by people posting bigger numbers or more expensive online. That's not the case at all. All the bigger number means is that your legacy gems are half as valuable, which is in itself an issue you're welcome to rail against if you think that's unfair. But the skins themselves in terms of diamond prices are the exact same as Smite 1, and of course way cheaper if you're using legacy gems. Also, I've mentioned it briefly already, but many many skins in Smite 1 can be got cheaper than this 1200 gem price through chests or events, and while we're yet to see any of those features hit Smite 2, I imagine it will be the same case again. These skins are made to look even more expensive because the vast majority of skin purchases made in Smite are through chests or events, not this 1200 gem direct purchase model. But since that's the only way skins are sold in Smite 2 right now, it's the only way we can directly compare. I think it's reasonable to assume that if the direct purchase prices are the same as Smite 1, the chest and event prices will be similar as well. If you want my personal take, I think the devalue in legacy gems is a little bit sneaky as they constantly promote the fact that you're getting your entire purchasing power back from Smite 1 as legacy gems, or 2 times if you buy a founders pack, but then they make everything cost 2 times as much, so you only really get half your purchasing power back or all of it back with a founders pack. That said though, this is a brand new title and they could have easily done what many other large game companies do and give you nothing. I think overall it's still more than fair to give you half of your purchasing power back and all of it back if you spend an extra $30 for the founders pack. After all, you already got your value and enjoyment out of those skins that you bought many years ago, and they were never going to be permanent. Giving you some of your money back is not something they had to do. I do, however, think it is a little bit sneaky to promote legacy gems as giving you everything you spent back, but then without really explaining it, they take away half that value due to inflation. I think that is a fair complaint. But yeah, skins in Smite 1 are not more expensive than modern Smite 1 skins. All that higher number means is that your legacy gems are devalued by 50%. I also want to address a comment I see a lot that Ascension passes should be legacy gems only, which I don't really see as valid. Ascension passes contain brand new content that never existed in Smite 1, so you never could have owned it before, and therefore you can't have lost them like you did your classic skins. I don't think legacy gems being able to buy entirely new content with entirely new work and dev time put into it should be expected whatsoever. If Smite 2 never happened and they added this system directly to Smite 1, you wouldn't expect to randomly be given it for free, so why should that be the case in the new game? Although you can technically get these for legacy gems only as long as you complete them. They cost 900 diamonds or 450 diamonds, 450 legacy gems, and they reward 450 diamonds throughout completion. So if you buy the pass and get that God to 10 masteries, you earn back the diamonds you spent and only paid 450 legacy gems for them. This means you can buy every Ascension pass ever made with only 450 diamonds to your name as an upfront investment. That seems pretty fair to me. Even at the full diamonds price, I think these are great value for money. I assume if you're buying an Ascension pass, you plan on playing that God a lot and eventually getting them to mastery 10, so they effectively cost 450 diamonds each. Keeping in mind from earlier that 450 diamonds is the equivalent of 225 legacy gems, barely more than a voice pack in Smite 1, which by the way you get for free in Smite 2. They could have easily attached voice packs to Ascension passes, but they didn't, which is commendable. At 225 gems equivalent, the amount of content you get in these Ascension passes is colossal in my opinion. Even more so when compared to skin prices at 1200 gems. You could buy 5 Ascension passes for the price of 1 direct purchase skin and still have some diamonds left over, which I think is pretty good value. But anyway, that's mostly what I wanted to talk about in this video. Hopefully having the facts of the situation lets you form an informed opinion on whether or not you think the skin situation in Smite 2 is acceptable or not. Let me know your own thoughts down below and I'll catch you guys for another one later on. Have a great day and peace out, you nerds.